back. We'll resume the portion involving city candidates. Thank you to all the candidates for attending. I'll go through the same rules that we heard at the earlier session, although I think we're going to try the 1 minute timed answers, right, Dan? And if that doesn't appear to work, or maybe we can adjust as we go. But let's try for 1 minute. Okay, we have more candidates. We want to get through more questions. Again, I thought the last group did great, not talking over each other. They didn't interrupt. They didn't get too personal. I thought the decorum was great. So I know we'll maintain that here. So let's do this. Let's start with the same introduction as the city candidates. We'd like to hear your name, what you're running for, because I understand we have some council member candidates, we have some mayoral candidates, and why you're running, and a little bit of background about yourself. Let's start with Ms. Valento down in the end.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Valento. I'm running for the Forest Lake City Council and I'm running for re-election. My background is that I grew up in Hugo. I now live in Forest Lake, and I went to the Forest Lake has essentially always been my community because I graduated from Forest Lake. And I'm running for re-election because I want to continue my unique voice on the Forest Lake City Council, because as a younger female, I think younger people need to be more represented within our governments. And in running, my top 3 priorities are to continue following our 10-year budget plan, to support economic development, and to figure out our internal organization, because as many of you probably know, we need to hire a city administrator. And in hiring a city administrator, that can create a ripple effect into our community. So it's super important that we hire someone who's good and who's out in our community. And so if you want more information about me, feel free to go onto my website. It's hannahvalento.com. And I also have an email, so feel free to reach out. And I'm very excited. And also, for City Council, we are looking at our budget. We just passed the preliminary budget, so feel free to keep following, and we always want your input. So feel free to reach out and be at our meetings, at the open forums, because we appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
My name is Bruce Anderson. I've lived in Forest Lake for 20 years. I'm running for mayor. This is really the wrong crowd for me. Give me some fishermen and some sports guys. But I'm running mainly because I want the voters to change how they vote. I want the voters to vote for issues and specifics. I bring up this, I got this in the mail from Jessica Johnson. On her card here, she's got specifics on what she'll do. I've been after politicians to do this forever. So you'll see that I'm totally against lawn signs, but I put her lawn sign up on my property because she's actually saying specifics. I hope to give you some specifics today on what I might do about certain issues. I'll briefly go about, I want people to elect the best person, not the lawn signs. Let's go back to, am I done?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
Okay. Just a reminder, you guys can finish your sentence when I say thank you.
Oh, that's good.
A minute goes fast. My name is Susan Young. Community. It's all about community for me. I was a council member for 12 years. I chose Forest Lake a little over 30 years ago because it reminds me of home. The geography, the topography, the climate, the rural area that I live in, that's what I grew up with, and that's what I wanted, and that's why I chose Forest Lake. It is my forever home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm running again because I think that I have an opportunity and I have connections to build community here in Forest Lake. We've got some really unique things that other communities don't have, but we don't all know about them. I was the first non-business member of the Chamber of Commerce back in the Ted Blank days. I like that because I think that individual citizens need to understand the importance of the business community.
Hi, my name is Blake Roberts. I'm running for mayor. Currently, I'm in my second year on the council. Prior to that, I was on the EDA for 12 years. I'm an active member in the Chamber of Commerce, Lions, past president of the Rotary and Lake Association. I'm running because I see opportunity in this town. We've got a great city, so much opportunity here that's been passed up. We've missed a lot of that. We've got a great downtown that is just waiting for that explosion to happen, and I think that I can help that happen because of my experience in business. I've run 3 small local businesses, third generation, and I'm looking forward to just the opportunity of Forest Lake to grow and thrive.
Hi, I'm Jesse Wagner. I've born and raised in Forest Lake, graduated from Forest Lake High School. At a point in my life now where I have extra time, so I'm looking to help serve. I've currently served on the Planning Commission, and I believe that by working and living in Forest Lake, I've learned many of different things that people would like to see and help the community thrive and advance forward. And great place to raise your kids and family. Thank you.
Mr. Wagner, council, you're running for council?
Council, Forest Lake.
Good morning. Excuse me. I'm Sam Hustic. Excuse me. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Forest Lake. I'm running for mayor. I've been serving the city of Forest Lake in one capacity or another for the past 30 years, either on Planning Commission, Airport Commission, EDA, and of course the City Council for the past 7.5 years. And I'm the liaison for between the City Council and the school board, and so I'm very involved in our community. And I want to continue that work. I have the experience that it takes to get this job done, and Forest Lake is a great place, and there's some things that we can be working on along the way, and we have been, and some things take some time, no question about it. The couple of struggles we have going through right now is finding an administrator, a permanent administrator. That's been taking up an inordinate amount of time. Also, our budget, we're working on our budget. Okay, we got a cut on that one, so.
We'll get the budget and the city.
We'll get to it.
Good morning, I'm Jeff Larson. I'm running for Forest Lake City Council. I've been in the community only about 6 years. However, I've retired from the Washington County Sheriff's Office, where I've had 34 years of service in. Part of the area here was working in the community as Forest Lake as a town in the township, and also in the city with the Forest Lake Police Department. I'm currently on the EDA board as well as the Planning Commission for the last 2 years. My wife and I enjoy the community. I've been volunteering at the American Legion. I'm a Sons of the American Legion member there, a board member with that organization, do a lot of volunteer work with them. I believe that you need to be in the community to create community. In my times with the EDA and the Planning Commission, I've enjoyed that work. I see a lot of potential coming forth, and I hope to apply that into further being a city council member. And I think I have the time to take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Thank you. Candidates, what major issues will be your focus if elected? And please be specific in how you're going to achieve your goals. We'll start with Mr. Anderson.
Well, there's a lot of Planning Commission members here, so this is going to be kind of a shock. But first thing I would do is eliminate the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission, in my opinion, has stifled business and homeowners for years. I actually was a part of the Planning Commission for maybe a year. Couldn't take it any longer. I was on the short end of many 5-1 votes. I was always for the property owner. You should be able to do whatever you want on your property unless it violates 3 things. 1, it can't hurt the environment, it can't hurt your neighbors, and it can't be unsightly or immoral. Otherwise, you should be able to do whatever you want on your property. And the Planning Commission, in my opinion, has always tried to find ways to say no to people instead of finding ways to say yes to people. So along with eliminating the Planning Commission, the other thing I would do is try to eliminate 1/3 to 1/2 of all the city ordinances. The city of Prior Lake has just done something similar. Thank you.
I've got three major areas. Improving the fiscal health of our community, which is not only the city fiscal health, but our business fiscal health. We have amazing local businesses here. We concentrate on local businesses. There's a way to highlight them as you work in the community. There's a way to say, let's support our local business as we do things in our community instead of saying, oh, why can't we have another Panera? Wrong. I want to improve the infrastructure here. My public background is in public works, and quite frankly, no city works without public works and a strong public works infrastructure. We need to work on and completing our 20-year plan. We need to be seeing what are the areas of infrastructure that we can make much better. I want to build community. I do volunteer in a wide variety of organizations because that gives me an opportunity not only to contribute in areas that maybe are not as sexy or fun, but it also helps me hear folks, hear what's different opinions, be involved in various aspects.
The core jobs of cities really are public safety and infrastructure. I think we've got one of the top public safety to both police and fire departments in the state, and we've continued to fund that. On top of that, it is business development, being development friendly. Again, opportunity of downtown. We've got 130 some acres south of the airport that developers are looking to come into Forest Lake. We need to bring people into Forest Lake to support businesses. We need more rooftops. We need those people. More people we have in, the more they're going to support the schools. And so my focus is going to be those three items, including aesthetics. This town has struggled a little bit with aesthetics. Aesthetics, having a beautiful place that people want to come and gather, that's your cheapest form of economic development. If we can do that, beautify our downtown, people are just going to naturally want to come here.
I believe in Forest Lake that we need to continue the sense of community. We have a great Arts in the Park program I've participated in for the last 3 years. I've had a booth there, and I believe that we need to draw more people down to downtown and keep going with expanding businesses. We need a lot more manufacturing, and so people can work in the community that they live. Right now, I know lots of my neighbors have to drive down to the cities to find a good job. It'd be nice to find more good jobs in the community that we live. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have a business background. We had 2 small businesses in the city of Forest Lake, and my focus is and always has been infrastructure. One of the main items. You got to make darn sure that the water mains are working and sewer mains are working and the streets are repaired, because if you don't have the infrastructure, that just stifles more development. Also, one of the things that I keep hearing about over and over and over again, that some contractors and some developers the difficult times they're having in the city of Forest Lake coming and trying to develop in the city of Forest Lake. So what are those hang-ups? And so I want to focus on those things and get the thing moving so that we can move forward with development and make sure that we have shovel-ready areas for development. But again, the infrastructure has to be there, and those are the things we've been working on. And the study we've did for the, excuse me.
And then it goes by fast, huh? Again, I hate to harp on it, but again, infrastructure I think is a very top priority here for the city. I believe a successful balance of new and existing businesses, and also to attract new residents to the community, and also have these people have a voice in our community and say, what they'd like to see or hear in the community for businesses is very important. The second would be public safety. Also, being from the background of public safety, I'd like to see our community be supportive, as we already are, making sure that they have the proper equipment, training, and retention of the people that we already have in the community is police is imperative. It's a struggle nationwide, as everybody knows. The third item would be our lakes in our community. The health of our lakes, the watershed has been doing an awesome job, the Lake Association as well, and I'd like to see them continue that and be helpful with that. Thank you.
As mentioned, and sorry to repeat, my top priorities are, the first one is to follow our 10-year budget plan, and I'll expand on that in my last 4 years, the first 2 years, we didn't have a 10-year budget plan, and so the city wasn't able to be proactive. And so when people would come up and be like, hey, this road is terrible, or this park needs a new slide because there's broken equipment, when are these things gonna get redone? And we didn't really have an answer. And so a 10-year budget plan plans out all of those things so we know that when our infrastructure is failing, when we can fix it. And so we're slowly but surely working so that things will be fully funded. And like last year, we approved a budget where our roads are fully funded. And the second one is economic development, because as almost everyone has mentioned, our downtown is it's just waiting there to be a gem for everyone to go down to and to walk, and then to Blake's point of the aesthetics. If we can just get that downtown, I feel like we're so close and working with EDA. And then the last one is the internal organization, as mentioned.
Thank you. The city's budget is a key issue. What is your view on city spending versus tax cuts? What is the city's role in spending, and please be specific, and what expenditures might you seek to cut? Let me start with Ms. Young.
We all want stuff. We want no potholes in the roads. We want all of the snow to be removed within 6 hours of the last snowfall. We want stuff to go away when we flush, but stuff costs money. Cities can also be very effective and efficient. I've run enterprise operations in cities that competed very favorably with any customer service or expenditures on the private side, but that comes from the top. You have to say, yes, we are going to control expenditures. Yes, I care about this. Yes, I am going to watch the data. I'm a data-driven person, and we are going to spend money on the things that are important. To me, that's infrastructure, that's public safety, that has to be our parks, and then we need to leverage the resources of the community and help those resources be better able to serve the entire community. Man, I beat it.
So this obviously is the biggest issue that a council deals with every year. It's the most important, really. It is trying to figure out where are we going to put those dollars, and how can we justify what is spent and what we should save on. We have historically in Forest Lake been pretty good about keeping our taxes low. Last year we did have an increase of around 14%. We just last night approved the levy at 11.5. Now it can go lower. We have until December to lower that. So it's that balance of trying to be respectful of people's taxes, especially commercial property taxes are just crazy expensive, and really they are bearing the weight of most of the community. And so it's balancing that out, but you do have to spend money to make money. Just like in business, you have to invest in the city for the city to make money and for the residents to prosper and for the city to prosper. So it's that fine line. We will, I promise, the three of us on here will get that down lower than we're at 11.5%.
I believe that we do have to invest in our infrastructure and stuff to get businesses in town. But I also believe that we need to try and help the older residents in town that are on fixed income so that they can stay in their houses and not be forced out into apartments or assisted living. We have lots of people in our neighborhood that are struggling right now with staying in their houses. And they're having to make hard decisions on what they want to do with the rest of their life. But we do still need to try and boost the Forest Lake, so I think we need to look at all aspects of what we can save money on and what to spend money on. Thank you.
At the moment, you've heard a lot about the budget that we're struggling with right now, and it is very, very important. And of course, that balance is the key thing. You're going to hear that a lot. One of the things we have to consider is, we look at the needs and wants of the city, right? But we can't lose track of who's paying that bill. And so we're trying to come up with that balance while we maintain our infrastructure, while we make sure that we have the safety system in place, police and fire department and so forth. And so it's really a tough thing at the moment, because when we look at the businesses, when we talk about the taxes that they pay, and every time there's an increase in their taxes, they have to pass that on to the consumer, and the prices go up, and it creates inflation and so forth. So we have to be very careful on how we do that. At the same time, we want to fix the streets and make sure that the sewer system's working and water system is working, and the police are doing their job, and they by the way, they're doing a great job. So.
Again, I think we've all kind of covered the same point with a lot of it here. Unfortunately, it does take money. We're going to be spending money, but we also want to be conservative and fiscal in our ways that we're placing our wants and needs in our different areas. Again, the police and fire, the public works, we've worked quite hard on our water system in the city of Forest Lake. They've done a lot of work on wells and things like that, and our water quality is top notch. We do need some equipment, and I was at the council meeting last night, and Public Works and Fire Department are all asking that we do need some more equipment, but I think they've done their due diligence to look into what the price of equipment is and done the best job that they possibly could. I think in being on the EDA and the Planning Commission, we're watching things too and trying to be as helpful as we can with the budget. Thank you.
It's that balancing act of trying to provide the amenities the community requests and wants, but then also being fiscally responsible. And as people mentioned, it's not an easy task. It's very difficult because you'd want to say yes to everything. I'd love to add 5 more parks to the city because we haven't added a new park in over 12 years. I would love to redo some of our parks. I'd love to invest more into downtown and redo all of the roads that need redoing, and who wouldn't want that? But it's about remaining fiscally responsible and kind of weighing those pros and cons. And it's not easy. It's super difficult, and we are just trying to get there with making sure, like I said, last year for the budget, we got roads fully funded, which is huge because one of the biggest complaints is roads. And then next, it's parks. We're slowly but surely getting there, but again, it's one of the biggest complaints that we get. So just ensuring that it's that balancing act.
When I went to the University of Minnesota, I was an economics major. I did my thesis on economics of lower developed countries. The city of Forest Lake is not a big city. The answer is pretty simple, but you got to think outside the box. Let's bring in more money. Let's bring in more money. Let's the city earn more money because we want to spend more money to make things nice. Just a couple examples are municipal liquor stores. And that doesn't mean to put other liquor stores out of business. It's just to be competitive with other liquor stores. City of Lakeville, for example, does municipal liquor stores, and they make 6 figures off of their municipal liquor stores. Second of all, this is, again, way out of the box, but everybody knows their auto and home insurance has skyrocketed. Progressive Insurance had a net income of $6.86 billion the year ending June 30th, 2024. How about our own city-owned Forest Lake Insurance for its residents and communities, where we provide low-cost insurance, and it's sold by local insurance agents. Thank you.
What is your position on filling the open city administrator position? What factors are you considering? Bad question? Yes. I'll restate. What's your role, or what's your position on filling the open city administrator position? What factors are you considering, and how will you measure your decision? Start with Mr. Roberts.
So this has been a really challenge, as Councilman Husnick mentioned, for us to land on someone. This is such an important decision. The previous administrator we had for almost 6 years really failed the city, to be quite honest with you, and set us back at least 10 years. That is why it is so important to have this done right. We went through a search process, did not land on the greatest candidates. Some people on the council did want to go with one of those individuals. I was vehemently against that. So we stepped back, got a new search firm, and we have new candidates coming forward. It's still not an easy process, and if we don't find someone this time, that's okay. If we have to go back to the drawing board, we're gonna have to do that, and we're gonna judge this based on their past, where they've been, if they're pro-business, their previous communities, if they worked at similar sized communities that Forest Lake has, and what their track record is. There are a lot of people that are out there that have great track records of bringing business to town, and their cities that they've been at, and we need to find the right person.
I would have to agree with Blake on this one, that we do need to find somebody that is fit for the job and has a great track record and will come to town and help grow the community and help grow the businesses and attract more people to come to town. Thank you.
This has taken up most of our summer, trying to find somebody to be permanent, and it's been a really tough job. The first pool of candidates, really, no one could really decide on one. That was the problem with it, and so we decided to move on. Our part of the problem has been our interim. There's been some issues with that where she's in, then she's out, then she's in, then she's out. The problem with that is we've had really good candidates say, I want nothing to do with it. And so I'm really concerned about the fact that we're down to such a small pool. There's down to a couple people here, and so hopefully in the next week or so, we can fix things to the point where we can actually attract a couple more candidates. At least to give you an idea what you're looking at and who to try to hire, and because it is an extremely difficult job. And a minute ago I asked Linda Matson, what are you doing next week? Maybe she's looking for a job. I don't know. I was kidding her, but.
I know this has been quite a hard topic for the current council. I know they've spent a lot of time and due diligence doing work on that, looking into it. The city also has put a lot of time and effort into it, trying to find a good qualified candidate, and I do respect that. And I think that it's hard to find a decent candidate. There's so many people out there looking for different jobs within the city and administrators and stuff like that. But I think also we need to do a thorough background on them and check the references and look into their past services and make sure they're the right fit for our community and be progressive in our community. Thank you.
This has been probably the most challenging thing on city council, maybe to date, and one of the most important decisions that we have to make, because we have to look at, as most people have mentioned, their backgrounds, how they'll be within the community. We want someone who is involved in the community, who's going to our events, who wants to potentially either live in the community or live close by. Someone who, in particular, within the city internal organization will support our current workers. Our current workers and employees have had a difficult time with our previous city administrators, and they need a good leader, because in order for it to create that ripple effect and that positivity going out into the community, we have to start internally, and that's within our staff. and it's already a difficult thing to get staff to come work for Forest Lake, so essentially just trying to change that narrative, and with that is finding the right city administrator, and I'm hoping we'll find someone soon, but it has been a challenge, but we'll get there.
I'm going to go against probably what everybody else has said, which is kind of what I do. I don't know how much the council and the city has spent on consulting fees to find a city administrator. I'm not sure, but the city, everybody talks about the budget, the budget, the budget. How much money has been thrown away on consulting fees? My idea is you hire one of the best kids right out of college. We're not Los Angeles, we're not New York, we're Forest Lake. You get the sharpest kid coming out of college to take the job. He'll work starting for a lot less, and because it's his opportunity, he's going to put everything he's got into the job. So I'd go completely different and not waste consulting fees and hire the best kid out of college.
The mayor and council are the policymakers. They are the board of directors of the business that is the city. The city administrator is essentially the CEO. They need to be a dynamic leader. They need to understand the business of a city, the legalities of a city, financing of a city, and they need to be able to motivate employees. They need to be community-oriented. One of the biggest gaps in the last 15 years is we have not had administrators that have been involved in the community, that are part of Rotary, that are part of Lions, that show up to important events in the city. They are part of the city and have a passion for not only leading a city, but for the city that they are leading as a CEO. It's an important position. Yes, you need to find the right candidate. Full disclosure, 10 years ago, that was my absolute dream job. This is a great place. There's a lot of things in Forest Lake that the perfect administrator or a very good administrator will bring to the community.
Okay, we are nearing our conclusion, but we have just a little time, so we're going to give you a quick 30-second spot for a conclusion. Why should the Forest Lake voters vote for you? Let's start with Mr. Wagner.
I believe I'm a good candidate as I've got some experience of living in Forest Lake and working in Forest Lake, and I've seen pretty much everything in Forest Lake and raised my son there, and I have experience. I run a small business out of my garage, and I also work as a continuous improvement technician, and believe that we can help look through things and find the 5 wastes of what we're spending money on and stuff. And thank you.
I think I make the best candidate because of my experience. I've been in every facet of the local government for the past 30 years, one form or another. Also, I'm a former business owner. We finally retired a couple of years ago after way too long, but we know the ins and outs of the business, so I think my experience with the city of Forest Lake and living here my whole life is a benefit to everyone.
I believe my strength, being on the Planning Commission and the EDA has brought a good attention to the community. My commitment to community through the American Legion events there, being involved in other events within the community. I believe you have to be involved in the community to create community. And I think I have a listening ear and an open new voice, and I'm willing and looking forward to being involved in the community more. I think I have the time and the energy to work with it. Thank you.
I think you should vote for me, and I hope you vote for me because I bring a unique voice to the city council with my background being in government, and I have experience in city government, state government, and tribal government, and I think it's just a unique perspective that I can bring on the council. And currently serving on the council, I hope that continuing into a second term, we can continue those positive strides that everyone in the community so desperately wants and that our community desperately needs too. Thank you.
My chance of winning are 1 in a million. So what you're saying is I've got a chance. Famous from a movie. Who else would wear an old gopher hat, except I want to show you who I really am. I'm not a politician. I just think that who do you want to sit down with? If you're a homeowner and you want to sit down with somebody because you got an issue at your house, who do you think would really listen to you? Who do you think would really be the guy you want to talk to? And that's who you should vote for. Thank you.
I was raised to contribute to the community that I want to live in, to help. You don't complain, you do what you can to make things better. I know how to leverage community resources to help the entire city and to help the entire community. I know what makes cities work and what makes them don't work. I have an absolute passion for being an elected representative of the folks in Forest Lake. I love this community. It's my forever home. I want to help make it the best that we all can be.
So I love this community. I've got friends and family that say, what are you doing? Why would you want to do this? I said, I wish I could drive to this city and not see all the opportunity here. Forest Lake is on the cusp of a city that is going to continue to grow, be a great city. If you want this city to be different than it has been and something actually to happen, I'm your candidate. You can go to Blake for Forest Lake to learn more about me, and I would welcome your vote in November.
Thank you to all the candidates for attending. Remember, the election is November 5th. For everyone out there, find your precinct, register, make sure you vote. Thank you, Nan.
Well, considering this was an idea, and I had no idea how I was going to make this all happen, I really have to give a shout out to Paul Peterson and LATV. When I called them and said, they all said yes. He helped me with this. So I think we have most of our folks coming in. All right. So they can hear me anyway. So what I do want to just say thank you to our esteemed lineup of candidates for sharing with us today. It's really important that we have the opportunity to meet with you and hear where your heart is. And so again, to all of you, I thank you. Also to our guests and our moderators, to Splitrocks, as I said, Paul and I made changes to how we were going to operate yesterday. And so again, thank you. And to you, our Forest Lake Area Chamber members and guests, just thank you for being here. I love the fact that you are passionate about what's happening in your communities and in your state. And with that, again, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your campaign season.